2014 GTR. This bad boy's been in here for a few years. We are checking the tune on it. It just has standard, ordinary drop-in pumps. It has basically, used to have these Denzos that were in there. And what we were noticing when we were doing all our checks and balances on this thing was our fuel trims were getting pretty high. We were seeing almost 120% fuel corrections. The GTRs use closed loop fuel control. So under wide open throttle, any circumstance, it's always gonna be either adding fuel or taking fuel away. Obviously you wanna get to 100% as close as possible in every situation. So with that being said, we found that these Denzos had their lifespan already. So pretty common with these drop-in pumps, you know, the Works, these Denzos. We like to use the AEM ones. We've had pretty good luck the last few years. The best thing is to use, of course, like the Walbro family of fuel pumps, the 450s, the 520s. For that reason, we really like to use the Visconti twin pump assemblies in these GTRs. It has the fuel filter appropriate for all that. But in any case, what we did is we dropped in some AEMs. We ran this bad boy back on the dyno after we had done that, and our fuel trims are right there, right around high 90s, super low 100s across the board. So really easy to tell. Thankfully, using the Ecutech stuff, you know, we have fail safes implemented. If fuel correction gets too high, it'll actually put this thing into a limp mode, warning the driver that, say, something's going on, get off this thing, get it checked out. So we got the pumps replaced. Power is right where it needs to be. We ended up making about 643 wheel and 610, 612 foot-pounds of torque. So right below that area of torque we need to be at. And yeah, this bad boy is gonna be going to a new home. So we wanna make sure that it's as good as it's gonna be. So again, keep that in mind, guys, with your Ecutech stuff. Thankfully, you've got the fail safes there enabled. And with these just quick and drop-in pumps, you know, maybe a few years is all you'll get out of it with the 85. So my best recommendation is to use that Visconti, you know, twin pump assembly. We really like those drop-in. And, you know, of course, the biggest reason is because they've got those Walbro pumps. You do the harness to give those pumps the power they need, and it does a really, really good job. So we'll hit back and we'll get the other one on the dyno next. All right. All right, guys, so on this Fast Intentions twin turbo 370Z, customer wants to go ahead and have us install some gauges in this thing. So really, with how far advanced the Ecutech stuff's been, you don't need to have a gauge. I think he just wants to be able to see them right there. He doesn't have to pull out the phone, connect to the Bluetooth device. So we've set him up with a boost pressure gauge and an oil pressure gauge. So the oil pressure is pretty cool because the factory 370Z ECU electronics and the sensors, it doesn't have an oil pressure sensor. It's got an oil pressure switch. It's a dummy light that basically just tells you, hey idiot, you got an oil pressure. And by that time, you've probably roasted your engine. But this is a good one to have, and you know, paired up with the boost gauge, he'll be able to see all that right in the cubby. So we're using the Defi advanced gauges. Those are my favorite. Back when I had gauges in some of my old Z32s, I had some of the Defi stuff, so you really can't beat it. Japanese quality, the sensors are really good, never had an issue with the stuff. So it is nice that we are doing the Defis. So we'll go ahead and get those in. We'll take a quick little shot of how we did the oil pressure sensor. That way we can retain the factory oil pressure switch with it. So it isn't hard. Just have to use a die because Nissan, of course, is Japanese metric. It uses 1/8 inch BS British pipe thread instead of national pipe thread. So we used the die and we used our 1/8 inch NP fitting and ran our die through it. That way that part can go into the engine without having to damage the threads on either the motor or on our adapter fitting. So we'll get a shot of that, and we'll get a nice little shot of these bad boys in action once we get all done with it. Hey guys, another Q50 in for another calibration, updates for E85. So this one, we're basically running full E85 E60 Plus. This thing has stock fuel injector still. It has the AMS 338 high pressure fuel pump and all the AMS bits, the fuel filter and the flex fuel kit. It's got our fuel filter bracket to help relocate that fuel filter. Full exhaust, pretty much all the basic bolt-ons, heat exchanger, intakes, and we've got our dyno results with the corn. So let's go take a look at that. So there you have it, peaking at 21 pounds of boost at 4,600 RPM, and we're making 500 wheel right at 5,300 and almost 540 foot-pounds of torque. So good solid results out of this. And another reason why you should go E85 with your Q. High octane, get rid of all that factors of knock and detonation, and of course, make a lot more power. All right, basic NA, guys, 370Z, you know, cold air intake, exhaust. It's got our flex fuel kit on here. So you run 91, mix it with whatever ethanol content you want. You never have to worry about switching maps. You can leave it, not stress out how much fuel you have in your tank. I know we've covered this a million times, but some people may not know. So got this paired with EcuTech, tuned it on 91, did really, really well. 325 wheel on 91, and with the 85, we just got to 340. So great results for a basic setup, really strong NA, and yeah, not much more, but let's rock it out.